Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the third tutorial. Once again, we're in Cinema 4D, and today I'm going to go through a very small technique. This might be as short as the last video. Maybe it might be longer, I'm not sure yet. Let's go with it. Now, this mainly helps with rigging techniques. So when you create an object, such as those for rig controllers, or even parts of a mesh, you often find that the coordinates of each object are difficult to remember when needing to reset. For example, if I have this cube, then I moved it here. Now, I can't remember where this point is, obviously. We do because it's 0, 0, 0, but just for the sake of this tutorial, I'll say that, I can't remember which point this was. And you probably didn't jot down these coordinates here. So now you're stuck and you probably have to guesswork by controlling this again and say, okay, this was approximately here. Now if you look at the coordinates, and if I rotate around, that actually isn't the case. And you can be left with things like continuity errors between things, jerky movements or whatever. So here's a concept. Wouldn't it be easier if wherever the object is, we could set the coordinates to originally be 0, and so when we want the position to return to what it had originally set to, all we have to do is 0 the coordinates. For example, all I'd have to do is 0, 0, 0. Now this worked for this object, but for some, when in a hierarchy system, it may not work like that. Now what a lot of people would do is, say I had this here, all they do is create a null, drag it into the null, so that then for the cube, in its relative position, my bad, the cube in its relative position, if I put it inside a null, would be 0, 0, 0, and this null would take the global coordinates. However, when working inside Cinema 4D, a lot of people want to create the hierarchy as clean as possible and as minimal as possible, so that when they want to go back into the rig, they want to scroll down the object manager, they don't want to keep having to go through several null layers before they end up to the object they want. So instead, here's a much more simple technique. This technique, or this tool, is called freezing transformations. So I'll add in another cube, and say we have decided that we want this cube, this is in its perfect location. I want this to be the original position of the cube. So rather than adding it into its own null, I'll go down to the attributes panel, click on coord, which is short for coordinates. Now here is the panel for freeze transformation. I'm going to click on this arrow and expand it. Now I want you to keep an eye here, and then keep an eye on this here as well. So now when I press freeze all, the coordinates here become 0, and this takes on the location of the coordinates that it was before. Now what this does is this maintains the global coordinates but resets the local coordinates. It essentially which is why it's called freezing the transformation. So this becomes the new 0 for this object. This means that now when I want to animate, and I will bring this back here and put this here, and now I say, oh, I don't really like that, I can just go 0, 0, 0, and it's back here. Now suppose then I didn't really want that position. All I do is unfreeze all. Now the global coordinates are put back in. I can then move this here. I actually wanted this cube to be placed here. Then I say freeze all, and now these are the new global coordinates, and the local coordinates have been set to 0. So in context, say you had an IK rig with a cube-like arm controller, and you're moving the arm around. You hadn't done freeze transformations, and then you wanted to put the arm back in its original positions. You can't remember the original coordinates, so then you'd be stuck. However, with this, you can always rely on the fact that no matter where you move it, if you wish to put it back to its original position, all you have to do is go back to here, here, and here, reset them to 0. This also applies for relative size, as shown here, and relative and the rotation, as shown here. Now hopefully this technique will help you when creating rigs. If anything, it will just make life easier during the animation phase rather than the rigging phase, and hopefully it should clean out your hierarchy in the object manager. And now I'd say that will be finishing off the tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like, favorite, and subscribe. And I hope you also leave a comment in the comment section below telling me where I can improve, what you want to see next, and if you're just generally enjoying the video, and possibly ask questions about this video. So thank you once again, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.